Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Superheavy Samurai Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for December 2019. A lot of you have been asking for an update to the Superheavy Samurai deck. Actually hasn't gotten any new support as of late, but I am looking forward to the potential that new stuff could one day come out for the Superheavy Samurai deck. I actually can't remember off the top of my head, since we have so many Link monsters that are released in the OCG, if there are any coming up for Superheavy Samurais that you could potentially get for the deck. I have a feeling in the back of my head there's one. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. If there is a Superheavy Samurai Link monster that maybe we'll hopefully be getting one day, definitely comment down below what it is, just so you can jog my memory of the card. But it's a really fun deck. The whole focus of the Superheavy Samurai deck is to not use any spell and trap cards in the deck and solely focus on the Superheavy Samurai monsters for all your plays, and go for your synchro plays. And we have a lot of other extra deck options as well with all the different cards we run. So I will no way in whatsoever moving on to spell or traps in this video as well. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So, for the only part of the deck, which are the monsters, I run two Superheavy Samurai Big Benkei. One of your powerhouses of the deck, I have stuck to two Superheavy Samurai Big Benkei for a good while in the deck. It's just very, very easy to special summon this card out, and then just, get it back from the graveyard as well with a couple other cards in the deck. When this card is normal or special summon, you can change its battle position. Superheavy Samurai monsters you control can attack while in face-up defense position if they do apply their defense for damage calculation. So this, and along with a good number of the synchro monsters in the deck, help with this effect, being able to have them in defense and attack using their defense, which Big Benkei has 3,500 defense, making it a true powerhouse in the deck, and very, very easy to summon out with a good number of the Superheavy Samurai monsters we have in the deck. But like I said, you only really need the two. It's easy to recycle from the graveyard, and most of the time you can use it for some of your other big plays as well. For some added backup, I run two Superheavy Samurai Thief. With this one, if you have no spell or traps in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. After this card is special summoned, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Superheavy Samurai monsters. You can tribute this card, then activate one of these effects, destroy one card in your opponent's spell and trap card zone, then you can set one of the destroyed spell or trap cards on the field. So it makes use of the card Superheavy Samurai Thief being able to destroy that card. It shares the same effect. It originally also had a pendulum scale effect, but since the pendulum scales are now also in the spell and trap card zone, it shares the same effect for both the destroyed effects, but just being able to place the card or destroy the set spell or card depending on what the card is. Very, very useful for this card. Makes up for its use of the name Thief, being able to take whatever card your opponent had set on the field or in their pendulum zone and use it as your own. And I also run three Superheavy Samurai Scales. If your opponent controls two or more monsters and you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target one level 4 or lower Superheavy Samurai monster in your graveyard except Superheavy Samurai Scales and special summon it in defense position. You can only use this effect of Superheavy Samurai Scales once per turn, but an easy way just to get monsters out on the field, especially your level 2 tuners. Going into Superheavy Samurai Ogre Shutendoji definitely does help for your opponent destroying their spell and traps on the field, and also just getting out a synchro very easily depending on the tuner you used for the play. So Superheavy Samurai Scales just helps with that special summon. You can also potentially get out level 4 Superheavy Samurais and then go for an Exceed play or even a Link play with this card and not even have to take up your normal summon as well. So if you get two out on the field, you can even tribute them for your boss monster, Big Benkei also. And I also run three Superheavy Samurai Magnet. With this one, when this card is normal summon, you can special summon one level 4 or lower Superheavy Samurai monster from your hand, then change its card to defense. I completely forgot for a second where this card special summoned from, but making it so you can have a wall with Magnet on the field, because monsters your opponent control cannot attack any monsters except this one. So if you set up two Superheavy Samurai Magnet on the field, it makes the Magnet lock, just like if you know Morphtronics and Morphtronics Magnin. It works in the same way with that defense, but just an easier way to swarm the field with all the different monsters also you have potentially. So I like to run the two Magnet, being the hand version of Scales, I would say, while Scales works with the graveyard. And I also run 2 Super Heavy Samurai Flutists. With this one, you can tribute this card to special summon 1 Super Heavy Samurai monster from your hand. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets a Super Heavy Samurai monster you control, you can banish this card from your graveyard, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. You can only use each effect of Super Heavy Samurai Flutist once per turn. So an easy way to summon Big Ben K once again if you open up in your hand. But having this card set up in the graveyard also helps just to protect those monsters by banishing it. I only run the 2 though. I went for more of a special summon option from the deck with a lot of the cards that I played. So just relying on Flutist for that hand play, and then also just having the option for the special summon and the protection from the graveyard is why I still like to run it in the deck as well. And then for the tuners, I run 3 Super Heavy Samurai Trumpeter. With this one, it's just an easy special summon if you have no spell or traps in your graveyard. By special summoning from your hand, then after this card was special summoned this way, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Super Heavy Samurai monsters. And if this card is tributed for the tribute of a Super Heavy Samurai monster and sent to the graveyard, and you have no spell or traps in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. So if you set up Big Ben K, you can summon out Trumpeter onto the field, and that is your synchro play to go into one of your best boss monsters in the deck, which is Super Heavy Samurai Warlord Susanoo, being able to take your opponent's spell and traps with Susanoo, and also having a 3800 defense Super Heavy Samurai boss monster on the field very easily as well. And then using your opponent's resources, I run 3 Super Heavy Samurai Battle Ball. If all monsters you control are Super Heavy Samurai monsters and you have no spell or traps in your graveyard, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls that has a level, send both that and this card from the field to the graveyard, then special summon from your extra deck 1 Super Heavy Samurai Synchro monster whose level equals the total original levels of those 2 monsters in the graveyard. The special summon is treated as a synchro summon, and you can only use this effect of Battle Ball once per turn. So you have plenty of different synchro options for these Super Heavy Samurais, which means different level monsters you can also go after with your opponent's monsters, and then go for the synchro play. And you also get around some of your other Super Heavy Samurai monsters that, if they have the specific level, that need a certain amount of Super Heavy Samurai monsters. Since it counts the synchro summon, you just need that 1 monster in your opponent's field, making Battle Ball very, very useful for a lot of your synchro plays. Being able to use your opponent's resources can help to also get around some boss monsters on their field they use also. And I also run 1 Super Heavy Samurai Drum. For the longest time, I didn't run Drum, but after, testing out with the 2 Big Ben K for so long and just wanting more options to get it back from the graveyard, Drum definitely did come in handy. When this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Super Heavy Samurai monster in your graveyard, except Drum, and special summon it. You can only use this effect of Drum once per turn. Getting Big Ben K on the field again is the #1 reason I run Drum at 1. You can search it out with the deck also, which is why I don't run more copies of it. It's really all you'll ever need, but having a level 1 tuner also helps to adjust some of my synchro plays if I'm 1 level off, or if I just want to use a synchro Super Heavy Samurai to go into a bigger play as well. And for some of the, I'm calling them the weapon Super Heavy Samurais, I run 3 Super Heavy Samurai Soul Piercer. You can target 1 Super Heavy Samurai monster you control, equip this card from your hand or your side of the field to that target. If it attacks a defense monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Super Heavy Samurai monster from your deck to your hand except Soul Piercer. So this is your main go-to searcher with the deck, but if your opponent likes to play defensively and you just get your boss monsters out on the field, they'll have a big problem to deal with, since you'll still be hitting for piercing damage using your Soul Piercers as well. And I also run 3 Super Heavy Samurai Soul Buster Gauntlet. You can target 1 Super Heavy Samurai monster you control, equip that monster from your hand or your side of the field to that target. It gains 400 defense, and during either player's damage step, when a defense position Super Heavy Samurai monster you control battles an opponent's monster, and you have no spell or traps in your graveyard, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. The battling monster's defense becomes double its original defense. So having a 3500 or 3800 Super Heavy Samurai, if your opponent tries to swing into it, or if you attack as well, you can double its attack and its defense, and go for the game right there with that play, making Soulbuster Gauntlet a very, very scary card for your opponent to go up against, depending on how they want to get rid of the monster. If they think they've had enough attack to attack over it, they'll be sadly mistaken when you drop the Soulbuster Gauntlets. And I also run 3 Super Heavy Samurai Soul Horns. With this one, it gives your Super Heavy Samurais 2 attacks while this card is equipped to that monster by this card effect. And you also have the option to special summon it onto the field, which gives you an extra bonus monster if you need it for that play. But most of the time, the 2 attacks is more than enough for some of your bigger Super Heavy Samurai Synchros also on the field. And I only have 2 of this card. I'm probably going to run 3 of it. It's just really, really great for the setup of a special summon from your Super Heavy Samurai monsters in the main deck. But I have 2 Soul Peacemaker. If you want to run a 3rd copy in the deck, you can try taking out either one of the Flutists in the deck, since it is searchable with cards like your Soul Piercer. So if you wanted to add in a 3rd copy of that, that would be the card I would recommend to remove it. But you can target one Super Heavy Samurai monster you control, equip this monster from your hand or field to that target. While this card is equipped to a monster by this effect, monsters your opponent control cannot attack monsters you control except the equipped monster. And you contribute a monster you control equipped with this card by this card's card effect to special summon one Super Heavy Samurai monster from your deck. You can only use this effect of Super Heavy Samurai Soul Piercer once per turn. But it gives you that option for the special summon from the deck, which waiting for your Super Heavy Samurai cards is probably one of the biggest weaknesses of the deck. Just having to draw into the cards you need. Since we run a big monster count deck, you don't really have any other options for the search, so relying on this definitely does come in handy, and why I would definitely recommend probably bumping it up to 3 if you wanted to take out one of the Flutists for that spot. And then for some of the non-Super Heavy Samurai monsters in the deck, I no longer run Sekka's Light, just because it limited my Susanoo play, being able to use my opponent's spell or traps. I don't really like that as much. But for some of the other monster spots, for the Kaijus, this works great for Battle Ball, being able to, give your opponent the monster to work with if they have just Link monsters on the field or Exceed monsters, and you really need them to have a level monster. I run 2 Gamma Seal and 2 Jizukuru, the Star-destroying Kaiju, having the level 10 and 8 option to go into your main plays, which are your Super Heavy Samurai Steam Train King or your Susanoo. Or if you just need to give your opponent a monster you can easily attack over if they have something a little stronger or something that's just a big problem to get over, having these options available also definitely does come in handy. And also, if you open up 2 of these, you can give your opponent the Gamma Seal and then special summon the Jizukuru to your side of the field to swing over it also. And for the rest of the hand traps in the deck, one of my favorite hand traps that I've run in this deck for the longest time and still really do enjoy it is Swift Scarecrow. We run into a lot of decks in this game that can easily wipe out a board, but having this option, as long as your opponent doesn't have the Call by the Grave to stop it, can really help and save you an extra turn, which, just one card can change the whole game around as well. So having Swift Scarecrow as one of the needed, I would say, hand traps in the deck, not being able to use spell or traps to protect myself, definitely does help. Just one extra turn, or if you have additional Swift Scarecrows, you can just hang on a little bit longer until you get the cards you need. And also, I run the 3 Ash Blossom, just another great hand trap to stop your opponent from searching plays. If you are a big fan of the Ash Blossom and you want to try the Sekka's Light in the deck for the draw power, you can take out the Ash Blossom for that spot, completely up to the player at that point if they want to do that, of course. And that is it for the main deck. When I move on to the extra deck, I run 2 Super Heavy Samurai Warlord Susanoo. With this one, this card can attack while in defense position. If it does, apply its defense damage calculation. And once per turn during either player's turn, if you have no spell or traps in your graveyard, you can target one spell or trap in your opponent's graveyard, set it to your side of the field, but banish it when it leaves the field. Taking your opponent's resources, a very, very important part of the deck, just being able to use their spell and traps depending on what they use. Biggest play I loved with the current metagame was being able to take one of my opponent's Call by the Graves and use their own Call by the Grave for my play. When they tried to use a hand trap, it was great. I loved it. Definitely did come in handy when they were going for that search especially. And I also run 2 Ogre Shutendoji. This is the spell and trap destruction one, so if my opponent has a big backboard, Shutendoji is easy to summon out, just needing a Scales and a Trumpeter as well for that play. And I also run 1 Super Heavy Samurai Ninja Sarutobi, 1 Stealth Ninja, 1 Beast QB, and 1 Steam Train King. Just having all the different single row options definitely does come in handy for the deck to rely on, especially your boss monster Steam Train King when you can get it out easily. Battle Ball is the best way to get it out, I'd say for sure. Being able to use Jizukuru on your opponent's side of the field or another level 10 monster they may have. And I also run 1 Naturia Beast with the drum play, having the level 1 and then a level 4 option. Just gives us another easy way to get out Naturia Beast and shut down our opponent's plays that run a lot of spells in the deck as well. And I also run 1 Tornado Dragon. This last rank 4 spot can be any rank 4 you may want to run in the deck for your plays. I just like this because it destroys spell and traps if it's one thing you're definitely afraid of in the deck. And for the Link monsters, I run 1 Mrs. Radiant. The majority of the monsters in the deck are Earth, so having this Link monster to go for extra deck plays as well is definitely needed, I'd say for sure. I also run 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, and 1 Nightmare Unicorn. And lastly, 1 Borlo Dragon. When you need the Link boss monsters, Borlo definitely does help with the deck for sure, just giving you the Link arrows for more extra deck plays and being able to take care of a lot of your opponent's problem cards as well. But that is it for the deck profile. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Twig out.